Thank you so much. Thanks. So this next song is about the car I learned to drive in when I was 16 years old. It was a 1962 powder blue Ford Falcon. I understand that some kids today are waiting to get their driver's license, and in fact some of them never do. But man, I couldn't wait. The morning of my 16th birthday, my mom took me down to the courthouse to get my learner's permit. Oh my. Now around that time, I had a friend named Cliff Adams, although everybody called him Iffy. Iffy was a different sort of dude, a great artist, a pretty good guitar player, and he had some pretty interesting vehicles back in the day. For instance, there was a green 1958 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. You know the kind with those big old fins and double taillights. And for a while he had a Pontiac Tempest and a Buick Skylark and even a dark blue step van. But what I really want to tell you about is his hot rod convertible car. It hardly ever ran. But he worked on it diligently throughout the whole summer before my junior year. And he painted it this really nice forest green. And one day, we decided to take it out for a test drive around the block. Now, one of the quirks of Iffy's hot rod was that it didn't have a gear shifter, but rather a pair of vice grips, so you had to reach down real low to shift gears. Well, we pushed it out of his garage and backed it into the alley. It was way too much hassle to shift it into reverse. He turned the key, and amazingly, it started right up. I jumped into the passenger seat, and off we went down the alley in first gear. We were about halfway down that alley when we hit a pothole, and the vice grip slipped out and fell onto the gravel surface below. And oh yeah, Iffy had neglected to tell me that he had not as yet connected the brakes. So there we were, proceeding along down the alley parallel to Ohio Avenue, the busiest street in town, going maybe 10 or 15 miles an hour with our vice grip shifter laying on the gravel behind us and the end of the alley coming up quick, maybe 100 yards ahead. Now, I make no claim to be the bravest person, and I am not ashamed to tell you I was a little freaking out. Iffy, what are we gonna do? But Iffy, he was calm and cool. And as luck would have it, when we were about 30 yards away from the end of the alley and certain disaster, that hot rod ran out of gas and coasted to a stop just a few feet away from Pike Street. But like I said, this is really a song about my 62 Falcon. In the summer of 67, I learned how to drive. I was leaning hard and glad to be alive. And the Beatles sang about love, and Nixon talked about war, and I was cruising my town in a 62 Falcon Ford. And my mother always liked that car. It was anything but cool. How much trouble could I find in good old powder blue? But if she'd have known the half of it, if she'd have known the score, well, she'd have never given me the keys to that 62 Falcon Ford. Yeah, pedal to the metal. Oh man, that car would go. She was powder blue, had an AM radio, and there were no seatbelts. There was rust upon the door, and anything was possible in that 62 Falcon 4. Now, speaking of anything being possible, back to my friend Iffy for a minute. He invented a game that he called Hood Ornament. Now, the gist of the game was that one of us would sit on the front of the hood of that Ford Falcon and assume the position of a hood ornament. And the other person would drive along Cisco Pond Road, gradually increasing speed until the hood ornament guy signaled that was fast enough. The idea was to compete to see who was brave enough or stupid enough to go the fastest. Now, I ain't nobody's fool, and I'm proud to say that I never won that game. And it is one of the natural wonders of the world that we survived adolescence. Well, I thought that I knew everything, felt like a king, had a red-haired girl beside me, wearing my ring, and with the clumsy hands of kids, new worlds we did explore on the back roads in the backseat of that 62 Falcon 4. Yeah, pedal to the metal. Oh man, that car would go. She was powder blue, had an AM radio, and there were no seatbelts. There was rust upon the door, and anything was possible in that 62 Falcon 4. Yeah, like I said, she only had an AM radio, and there were only a couple stations would come in. There was 1410 WING Dayton radio. And on a good night, there was CKLW from Detroit. Well, the years rolled on by. That redhead left. Other wars came and went with sorrow and regret, and I see a Falcon now and then, and they always open doors to those wild and tender memories of that 62 Falcon 4. Yeah, pedal to the metal. Oh man, that car would go. She was powder blue, had an AM radio, and there were no seatbelts. There was rust upon the door. Anything was possible in that 62 Falcon 4. Anything was possible in that 62 Falcon 4. Falcon 4.